The opening tip, late night basketball. Past 9 o'clock local time here in Las Cruces, and the tip is controlled by the freshman Chalizi DePaue. And the New Mexico State Aggies, they'll get the ball first.
It's important when you've lost 3 games in a row to kind of make sure you value the ball against a team like Utah State, because if you turn it over, they're going to be able to get into their half-court sets and settle things down. So the biggest key for New Mexico State early is not turning the ball over.
And a lot of that will fall on this guy, the guy Sean spotlighted just a moment ago, Ernst LaRoche, outstanding junior point guard. Picked up his dribble, found DePaue, who missed the dunk, and he cannot believe it. Here comes Brock Heath Payne. Good look for New Mexico State on the first possession, just did not get the dunk to go down. Nate Bendel along the baseline, making a move with the right hand. That one no good. 2 players crash to the ground, and here comes New Mexico State. LaRoche open for the jumper, got the roll.
LaRoche was the first player out today in the gym before the game started tonight, before his teammates were out. He was getting extra jump shots in, felt like he was in a good rhythm. Even looked over at me and said, I think we're going to get a big win tonight.
Brock Heath Payne taking it all the way. Nobody stopped him.
And that's what Brock Heath Payne does. He adds a different dimension to this Utah State Aggies offense. The ability in the open floor to create and make plays.
Utah State has dominated this league over the last few years, and yet this has been the toughest place for them to play. This has not been an easy place for Utah State at all. In the WAC, they're just 1-5 here. Payne with the steal, and he's going to try to take it all the way again, but he missed the layup.
He should have finished on the left-hand side and finished with his left hand.
Gillenwater in transition.
Gillenwater is going to be interesting for me tonight, watching him play. Is he going to play with a high motor at both ends of the floor, or is he kind of going to just float through the game? When he wants to play the game of basketball, he's as good as it gets in this conference, but at times his motor's not at a high enough level.
It's going to be a very explosive scorer. He's got the assignment on Ty Wesley early. Wesley passes to Bendel, who knocks down the jumper.
Just great awareness by Ty Wesley, finding Bendel. He spotted up at that elbow area at the free throw line and just knocked down a jump shot. You've got to close out on him.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Utah State. We've seen Bendel make a lot of big shots. DePaue trying to be aggressive. Wesley with the rebound. Chalizi DePaue is about as physically imposing of a freshman as you'll ever find. He's got a lot of potential. Wesley, tough catch. DePaue rejected it. Wesley got it back. The extra pass, but Williams passed up the 3. Williams out to Payne. Newbold was wide open. Finds Williams, who shoots the 3 this time. No good.
That's a good possession for Utah State, even with the miss.
Gillenwater blocked by Wesley. And he's claiming he was fouled. Brock Heath Payne a little wildly out of control.
Remember in the open I said you take the good and the bad? That's the bad side of Brock Heath Payne. Poor decision that time, dribbling into 3 guys. Pull it back out, establish your offense.
Physical couple of minutes and a ragged couple of minutes. Game has remained tied at 4. Gillenwater hands back to the sophomore Tyrone Watson. Here's the senior local kid, Gordo Castillo. That was not a very good pass. It went off of Payne out of bounds. And there's the head man of Utah State. Tremendous success in Logan, Utah, his 13th season. Almost a 76 winning percentage over his career.
Just a picture of consistency with his program, his coaching staff.
A little floater in the lane. Nice touch.
Early on, it's been the point guards that have been making a majority of the plays for both teams. And I think it's a good sign for both of these teams, because you see the strength in these teams. Ty Wesley is down low on the block. Utah State loves to play through him. Gillenwater and the size, the imposing size of New Mexico State.
Bendel open again, came up short this time, and Watson very aggressive in transition, lost the dribble, otherwise he may have taken it all the way. Castillo short on the 3.
Stu Morrill very quickly telling Brock Heath Payne to slow it down, get the play call in. run your offense. I think that the faster this game is, the more it plays in the hand of New Mexico State.
Lou Williams, nice touch. And the team shooting the ball particularly well in the early going. But uninterrupted action in Las Cruces. Here's Ernst LaRoche. He started every game since he showed up 3 years ago. Ball kicked by Brock Keith Payne, and that will give us our first timeout from New Mexico State, an early 6-6 game. All right, Dari, 6-6 game here at New Mexico State. We'll pay close attention to that BYU score. The headlines around the West Coast, college basketball this week, and the biggest one, of course, that story around BYU with no more Brandon Davies, at least for the rest of this season. Another big one in the West Coast Conference. Gonzaga came from a midseason slump, stormed back, shared another WCC championship, their 11th in a row, and the Pac-10 has gotten nuts at the end of the season. And Sean, you and I will be in Seattle tomorrow night for UCLA at Washington, and UCLA's got a chance to share the Pac-10 title. That didn't seem likely a couple weeks ago.
No, but the Bruins have won 12 of the last 14 games. And Ben Howland's got his team playing extremely well. Great deal of confidence coming off that win over Arizona. Now the Wildcats are at home this weekend against the Oregon Schools. A little bit easier of a road for the Wildcats.
LaRoche with a bad bounce pass, and Brian Green just in off the bench for Utah State, came away with the steal.
Interesting too, you mentioned Gonzaga. An amazing turnaround. Mark Fugis has done such a great job instilling confidence in Marquise Carter, getting him to peak at the right time. Sam Dower coming off the bench, providing offense. 11 straight conference championships. Elite company. Only UCLA has won more conference championships in a row, and that was 13 during their heyday, obviously, with John Wooden.
Incredible company for Mark Few and the Bulldogs. Green, best three-point shooter in the WAC. Passed up a chance to shoot one there. LaRoche shot the passing lane and got the steal. Castillo. Gillenwater, instead of passing, turns around, shoots a tough shot, gets his own miss, and then gets fouled. The head coach for the New Mexico State Aggies, watching his team battle on the boards there in his 4th year, Marvin Menzies.
Boy, he has worked under some of the best in the business. Rick Pitino, Steve Fisher, Lon Kruger, and he has done an outstanding job in this program. And it's been a down year, comparatively speaking, to what the expectations were, but a lot of that has to do with some injuries.
Castillo short on the 2. The kid from right here locally in Las Cruces, they love him in the Pan American Center. He's off to a cold start so far tonight. Pressure defense from New Mexico State early. Now a whistle away from the ball, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, against Rahman. Amadou Rahman, who has started for a good bit of this year, experienced player. He's just not been healthy, so lately coming off the bench, upset with that whistle.
Well, you've got to make sure when you check into the game that you can insert yourself as a physical presence, but you don't want to pick up quick fouls that take you out of a rhythm at the offensive end of the floor. Or what coaches would say are silly fouls that don't equate to protecting the hoop and not giving up an end one.
Help, Keith Payne getting a rare break on the bench. So here's E.J. Ferris handling the ball right now. One of the backup point guards. Ferris in traffic draws a foul.
Well, the screening action has been very good in this game for Utah State. And even on that move right there, it was a false screen, a slip screen action by Ty Wesley, who picked and popped. But that's what allowed Ferris to turn that corner and get to the rim.
Doesn't play much, but E.J. Ferris, a sophomore from California, knocks down the free throw.
There's the ability, very quick, a lot like Brock Keith Payne, very quick in the open floor, looks to attack, and sometimes that creates some issues for E.J. as he will over-dribble, penetrate, and leave himself no options, and he can turn the ball over, but that time made the right move and the right read.
8-6 lead for Utah State. Mexico State typically plays very well here at home. They have not lost a league game in this building this season. The leading scorer, Gillenwater, back to LaRoche, calls out a play.
Utah State going to their zone defense. They tend to do this a little more often on the road than they do at home, but it was very effective a couple weeks ago in Moraga.
Jardine thought he got a clean block, but Rahman will shoot free throws. He called the foul against Brady Jardine.
You see, this is a great way to work down the zone. The backline defense, that was poor vision by Ty Wesley. He has got to make sure if there is a man behind him that he at least has one hand, you know, old school basketball, point to man, ball you man principles. You've got to make sure you slide down and cut off that angle.
Rahman too strong on the free throw. We don't expect to see that from Wesley. Small mistake, but he makes almost no mistakes. A very experienced player. Meanwhile, Rahman, who's been big for New Mexico State in years past, missed both free throws. Nice tip rebound, though, from Christian Kabongo, coming off his best scoring game of his career. At Hawaii, had 22 points.
He played extremely well last week. Remember when we saw him at San Jose State? He was very active for New Mexico State.
Just a freshman. Kabongo back to LaRoche with 11 on the shot clock. Kabongo will shoot from the baseline. High arcing shot. Rahman offensive board. Then he lost it out of bounds.
Now, when they got that second look, one of the things that you need to have is proper spacing in your zone attack. You had both bigs, one in the short corner and one on the block. One person can guard both at that point in time. You got to at least move up the lane and create space for that man in the short corner.
Now we'll see some full court pressure from New Mexico State. You referenced the game we did in San Jose last week where New Mexico State lost to San Jose State. That full court pressure was almost completely ineffective. They needed to generate some turnovers, create some chaos.
George Nessman's squad likes to play at a frenetic pace as well. So that's why I think they were so equipped to handle the pressure by New Mexico State. And when you have Adrian Oliver, one of the best scorers in the country, go off for 36, you give yourself a chance to win.
Off the missed shot, Rahman pretty active in his minutes. Almost fell down, and he did. They called a travel against Hamidou Rahman.
That's just pull the chair out from underneath your defense. Watch Ty Wesley. As soon as he makes contact, he just backs away. Sometimes as bigs, that's one of the most embarrassing things that can happen to you. You try to get that power dribble, and there's nobody there, and you just fall to the floor.
Never happened to you in your career, though.
No one guarded me when I posted up.
There was no chair.
There was no chair to be pulled.
Utah State still with a 2-point lead. Very low scoring first half to this point. Brian Green gets an opening. Short on the three.
Brian Green has got to knock down that perimeter shot. That's why he's out there on the floor. He is so good in those instances, making sure that they make their shot count.
Now a whistle and a foul against Bendel from behind after Rahman got post position. So the Aggies battling one another. 8-6 Utah State. And your home court of college hoops has a doubleheader for you Thursday night, 7 Eastern. Tennessee goes on the road to South Carolina in the SEC. And then at 9 Eastern over to the Big Ten. Wisconsin on the road in Bloomington at Indiana. Thursday night showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. Here tonight in Las Cruces, kind of a late night game here. And so they've called it Pajama Night at the Pan American Center.
I had to talk you out of wearing your onesie and get you into your suit tonight, Dave. But no, it's created a great environment here for the fans and the students in particular. And I've been impressed with the students. They got here early. They are participating. They've had a lot of competitions and stuff before the game started of best dressed pajama outfit.
So quite a scene here. The students are definitely into it. They're into the game too, realizing this could be a big win for New Mexico State against the dominant team in the WAC.
Well, and you mentioned too, for the conference tournament this year, that 2 seed, much more important than it has been in recent years with the change of the format. First seed and second seed both get byes all the way to the semifinals, which means you're 80 minutes away from an automatic bid.
Banja C fell down. He traveled. The fans wanted a tripping call, but C commits a turnover. But back to your point, this is the first year that the WAC will have that essentially a double bye for the #1 seed and the #2 seed. In New Mexico State, they got some work to do because they've fallen back over the last couple of games into the 3 spot in the conference. Basically, if they have any prayer, they've got to win this game They got to win their last 2.
Otherwise, Boise State looks like in a great position maybe to get that #2 seed.
Wesley on the bench at the moment. Nate Bendel making his move to the bucket with the left hand. Rahman altered it. Rebound. Who's going to grab it? Tipped around, out of bounds, off of Utah State.
Good scrapping, good fighting down low for loose ball situation. New Mexico State size can really alter and change things for you, especially for Utah State tonight. They have got to do a better job handling the inside presence at your offensive end and attacking the bigger, taller, stronger players.
It's literally one of the tallest teams in all of college basketball. Now Ferris got a hand to the passing lane. Ferris on the break. Ferris with the finger roll, no good.
Twice now, Utah State has had opportunities to finish in the break, and both times the point guards. Once brought Keith Payne, that time EJ struggling to finish.
You got to make those shots. Watson, unusual shooting for him, but it works.
Not noted for his perimeter game, much more of a scorer when he puts the ball down on the floor and creates an opportunity at the rim, but that time he's able to get his feet underneath him.
It's been 5+ minutes since Utah State scored. Now this offense has just been shut down. Brian Green. Ferris in the corner, gets by the defense, flung one up there, and it went down.
A much more difficult drive than he had the last time down the floor, but able to finish somehow on that one. And Utah State needed that in a big way. As you mentioned, struggling at the offensive end.
So Utah State back on top. As Sean said, they like to use this zone defense. Jardine challenged that shot, then went high, but his teammate Koo Williams got the defensive board. Long outlet, nobody got back to stop Nate Bendel.
And you can't allow Nate Bendel to run down the floor. It wasn't like he was streaking down there like a sprinter in the 100-yard dash. I mean, he was kind of moseying down, had put his hand up. Great awareness, good court vision, throwing it ahead.
And E.J. Ferris, who doesn't play big minutes, despite the missed layup, he's given Utah State some nice moments in this first half.
Well, he's played some good defense. He's got some steals already as well.
Watson to Rahman, challenge, air ball. Jardine rips it away. And now Utah State trying to push tempo. Ferris, great pass. Koo Williams off the glass.
And Koo Williams came up lame. His left ankle, when he came down from that shot, I think actually before it is, even when he took off for that shot, he kind of pulled up a little bit lame, but a nice job by Utah State. Back-to-back possessions, pushing the ball up the floor, getting easy looks, not allowing New Mexico State to set it up. You're going to see as he plants, that left ankle rolls before he even leaves the floor. So good concentration and ability to finish.
And Williams is now going to have to go out of the game. Tyler Newbold will come in. What a great sequence for E.J. Ferris. That's the best I think I've ever seen him play over a short span. Brock Keith Payne, who plays huge minutes on the bench. Utah State has their biggest lead. Payne back in at the point of that defense. Green tipped the pass, but Castillo with the catch. Here's the freshman to Poway. Off to Gillenwater with the foul. Poway
did such a great job posting up deep in the paint. When you catch the ball that low, you force the defense to collapse. Look how low he is underneath the rim of the basket. An easy handoff to Gillenwater, who takes that shoulder, puts it right in Newbold's chest, and gets an N1 opportunity.
And Gillenwater, the second best scorer in the conference behind Adrian Oliver, missed the chance for the three-point play. Three-point lead, Utah State. Newbold, senior, nice crossover move to his fellow senior Wesley, finds Bendel, no good.
They are collapsing so much on Ty Wesley. They're essentially saying somebody else beat us tonight because we're not going to allow Ty Wesley to post up down low on the block and score a bunch of points.
Poway, they almost dared him to shoot.
He has been playing with much better confidence in the last couple of games. Even in the losses, he has been a bright spot for New Mexico State.
Here's Wesley. Still has not scored. Tipped by Bendel, no good. And New Mexico State trying to go on a run. Gillenwater with some contact, no whistle. Gillenwater tried to sell that call. Now Gillenwater not exactly sprinting back on defense.
Frustrated is Gillenwater, but I think Ty Wesley is equally frustrated. He does not have the same kind of bounce we have seen in his step time and time again this season.
Marvin Menzies cannot believe that it's not his ball when we come back. But Sean was talking about Chalizi Napawe, the big freshman, native of South Africa, showing off some skills in the first half. I could guess the answer to that. If they go down at home tonight, it would dramatically change the look of the top 10, Sean, and also likely the look of those top seeds in the NCAA tournament.
Well, no question, BYU would fall off that one line. I really think with the loss of Davies, San Diego State would be the favorite in the Mountain West Conference tournament. I think the one team that continues to stand out to me is Purdue. Matt Painter has done such an outstanding job. Will get my vote for National Coach of the Year without Robbie Hummel. Yes, he still has E'Twaun Moore. He has Juwan Johnson. Sensational job overall by the Boilermakers this season.
Brian Green short on the three. There's the freshman Napawe with the rebound. How about a team just down the road from Purdue, Notre Dame? Two teams close in proximity. Not many people are paying real close attention to. Both very good teams. Napawe, offensive board, and the stick back.
Napawe playing with better confidence than we have seen all season long, and he has been a difference maker at the offensive end of the floor in the early stages of this game, and nobody would have predicted that.
And a carry on Brockheath Payne, who's turning the ball over a lot here in the first half. Payne, although on the stat sheet, that's the first official turnover against Brockheath Payne. He's missed a layup. He had a pass tipped away and stolen, and now he carries. Here's Kabongo for New Mexico State. Trying to draw the foul. Tip ball out to Payne. 2-on-1. Newbold right back to Payne, and this time the layup is good.
And Utah State has been very efficient in the open floor. That has been their best offense all night long, and for a team that usually will slice you up in the half-court set, they have not had a lot of success against New Mexico State's defense.
Napawe. Gillenwater gets a touch. Double team. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. And a spin move. Knocks down the two.
He has got a pro offensive game. When he wants to play and when he's dialed in mentally, you can see the skill set is there.
Standing Aggies back to a 1-point lead. Newbold in traffic amongst the big guys.
Well, not noted for his ability to get up with verticality, but a quick release. Napawe couldn't get there in time to block the shot.
Nifty little play by the senior, who tonight, along with his teammate Ty Wesley, setting a new record for most games played in a career at Utah State. He leads Wesley on the break, and the big man with an athletic move.
Well, it's a great pass, too. It wasn't just a bounce pass. It was a leading bounce pass that allowed Ty Wesley to assess where the defense was set up, alter his body, and get to the rim.
Utah State getting their best looks, as you just mentioned a moment ago, in transition. Maybe a flop by Newbold. They certainly didn't blow the whistle.
Gillenwater initiating contact, and that is a call that we have seen throughout the course of the season usually go against the offensive player.
Time they let Gillenwater get away with it, and he was wide open for the bucket. Williams feeds Wesley. Blocking foul. So they will count the basket, call the block against the freshman Napawe, and give Ty Wesley a chance for a three-point play.
Ty Wesley's been awfully quiet in this first half. He finally got his first points out in transition, and now you kind of start to see him in that pick and roll action that has been so key to Utah State's success in the first half.
You love Marvin Menzies' body language signaling to one of those officials. I just saw it. I think you guys missed one. Ty Wesley gets the roll.
As you mentioned, Marvin studied under the best coaches in the country, and he certainly enjoys and embraces the game of basketball, coaches with passion, expects his kids to play with passion at all times.
Led his New Mexico State team to the NCAA tournament last year, and they nearly pulled off a huge upset against Michigan State in the first round. Gave the Spartans everything they could handle. Tough shot, Gillenwater. And Wesley gets called for the foul on this possession. Ty Wesley called for the foul there, although he's gotten it going on the offensive end in the last couple of minutes.
A quiet first half has already all of a sudden awoken in transition, the ability to alter the body, then a pick and roll action. Doesn't matter if someone's standing on the train tracks, he's going to run him over. Utah State needs to get a lot more of that tonight.
Okay, we'll wait to hear about that. March has definitely started. It continues on Saturday with a doubleheader on ESPN to the Big East. Louisville at West Virginia at noon, and staying in that league, Notre Dame on the road and UConn at 2 Eastern. All presented by 5 Hour Energy. And we mentioned Notre Dame and how well they're playing, especially their scoring duo, Sean.
There's no question. Ben Hansborough and Tim Abromaitis, they have been outstanding as of late. No better, though, than what they were last night against Villanova. Look at 30-30 on Monday against Villanova. An outstanding collective effort. And Mike Bray has a veteran group that plays good defense, but they're even more electrifying at the offensive end with their perimeter shooting.
One thing Notre Dame doesn't have, that guy. Only in Las Cruces. Troy Gillenwater, meanwhile, he can go for 30. The drop of a cowboy hat. Misses a free throw, though. 4-point lead for Utah State. Gillenwater struggling at the line. Against the pressure, E.J. Ferris back in the game, and why not? He played real well when he was on the floor. Drew Williams, the ankle apparently okay. He's back in. Under 4 to play in the first half in Las Cruces. Utah State getting almost all their points close to the basket. Ferris will try one from deep. No good. Wesley tipping the ball around, but there's B.J. West.
New Mexico State has done an excellent job shoring up their defensive glass, not giving Utah State second chance opportunities. They just need to turn those opportunities into points at the opposite end.
That's a good point, because Utah State in Logan earlier this year just killed New Mexico State by crashing the offensive boards over and over again. It's the biggest reason they won that game. LaRoche for 3. No good. Jardine way up high for the rebound. Brady Jardine is a spectacular athlete. Comes off the bench, but a very important player for Utah State. Here's their leader, Wesley. Skips right through the lane.
He's starting to clear out some space.
Watson just stepped right out of bounds.
The problem with this lineup they have on the floor right now, in the last time down, is you can't have West guarding Ty Wesley without bringing help. The help side defense has got to be built in. Otherwise, he is going to score every single time he touches the ball. In fact, I would put Ty Wesley back down on the block right now and get him the ball before Napawe comes back into this game.
West is a nice, talented young player, but not equipped to handle that assignment. Wesley's going to use the dribble. Extra pass by Newbold. Now Ferris, maybe feeling a little overconfident.
It's one of those examples to over dribble penetration, not leaving yourself an option.
Foul on the floor here, and Stu Morrow goes over to ask his sophomore. I believe I read Stu's lips. What are you doing? It's a decision that he did not like, and Ferris is going to the bench. The more veteran player, junior Brockkeith Payne, comes back in.
Ferris has had some bright spots in the first half, but you cannot extend out in traffic, leave your feet, and have no option. No option to shoot, no option to pass. It is a turnover and usually leads to a great opportunity for your opponent.
Poway back in, lost the ball, got it back, then Jardine went up and rejected the shot. New Mexico State gets organized on defense. Roach harassing Brockheath Payne. Forces him to give up the ball. Now it's Poway against Wesley. The big guy gives it up. Newbold too strong on the three.
Let's see, Poway has the size to absorb the contact from Ty Wesley down low on the block.
Foul against Utah State. Jardine's got 2. It also is bonus time now for New Mexico State. Under a minute and a half to play in the first half. 1-and-1 free throws coming up for Tyrone Watson, who is not a good free throw shooter. He does a lot of things well. This is not a strength of his game.
His stats across the board are up from a year ago, averaging better than 10 minutes a game from where he was a year ago. +4 points, +3 rebounds, +2 assists. He has been a much more efficient basketball player this season. But you see a little bit in his stroke where it's kind of coming from low, right off his shoulder, versus extending that elbow up and getting that at shoulder level.
Just 53% on the year from the free throw line. Made 1 of 2 in that sequence. 4-point lead for Utah State, struggling here on the road against a tough New Mexico State team. Now LaRoche called for the hand check foul. Just the 4th team foul in this half against New Mexico State.
Five. Troy, back up a little, just a little.
Payne and LaRoche getting into it in the back of the line here. The officials want to make sure there's no contact before the play, and the ball is inbound.
Brockheath Payne, LaRoche all over him. A good defensive half for New Mexico State. Wesley cut off by Gillenwater, trying to repost. Never got the ball back. Still 15 on the shot clock. Wesley going to the basket, ripped away. Out of bounds, though, off of New Mexico State. So with 10 on the shot clock, Utah State keeps it.
No, and that's a bailout because this had no chance whatsoever of getting to the rim. I mean, Ty Wesley loves to spin, and usually when he spins, he's able to create space. But good help side defense rotation. He already had left his feet. He had no option. Should have been a turnover.
Called play from the bench. Now 7 to shoot. Brockheath Payne gets a screen from Bendel. Bendel shoots the long 2. Good.
Bendel, second time in this half that he's been able to spot up and make himself available.
He's pretty good for a big guy in those late clock kind of situations. Does not rush the shot. There is a slight difference between game clock and shot clock. New Mexico State, though, is going to act like it's the final possession of the half. LaRoche got a little casual. Quick timeout for Marvin Menzies. We'll take a quick timeout of our own. Come back for the final 18 seconds of the half right after this. 27-21 on Pajama Night here in Las Cruces. The New Mexico State students getting into it. Late night college basketball, Wednesday night hoops, presented by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Final 18+ seconds of the first half. New Mexico State can almost hold till the final second. And out of the timeout, New Mexico State with their point guard LaRoche harassed by Brockheath Payne. Poked into the backcourt, not a violation. But now 2 on the shot clock. LaRoche just heaves one up. No good. Bendel didn't realize there were 2 extra seconds. This heave almost goes. I don't know if that would have counted or not, but Brockheath Payne came awfully close. Utah State survived a couple New Mexico State runs. They have a 6-point lead at the half on the road. Now let's go to Dari Nelka for our ESPN.